Hello and welcome to the Final Bell, the official Geelong Cats podcast. It is great to have you with us. We are brought to you by Panther Tyres, as we are each and every week. Big thanks to the team at Panther Tyres. If you need anything for your car, give the guys a call, go and check them out, and they will take care of you like they do to all of their customers, but they have done to Stokesy. He's had the whole kit and caboodle, and he's got his car sorted. So thanks to the Panther Tyres, guys. I mentioned Stokesy. He's here again. Scotty Gullan is as well. We've got a terrific show coming out because we're just talking Cats wins. We're talking about another big game Thursday night coming up against the Pies. Scotty, Stokesy, welcome to both of you.
Hello, Cameron.
Hello, Cameron.
Mathew, always lovely to see you.
Always lovely to see you.
Now, actually, I was going to change the name of this podcast from To the Final Bell to the Sam Simpson Podcast because I just want to give an absolute truckload of love to Sammy Simpson. What a game of footy he played, and it goes to show we're all in a hurry to get players have got to play straight away. If they don't do anything in their second game of football, they're garbage. If they've done something in their third game of footy, our mate here, Scotty, Stokesy will say that they're a champion and the greatest player ever.
You're in the media, Cameron.
Goes to show that there are different rates of development. Sam Simpson played the entire year in the VFL last year, consistently in the best, but needed to add things to his game, needed to add some size to his frame. Now, I'm not saying he's just mark him down as
sounds like he's going to win the Brownlow.
Superstar, but it goes to show when you develop at different rates, you can still have an impact. Don't write people's career off. He was superb.
He was pretty impressive, actually. And not only the possessions, but he also had the 5 tackles. He's gone inside 50. He was rebounding from 50s. And everything he was doing was really clean. And I think that's what we were speaking about last week, the one grab, one take type of player is what you need in that midfield. And Scotty, I think he could be close to winning the Brownlow this time.
I like the mini washing machines. It's his size. He's a typical Geelong tallish mid. You know, Wellesley likes them, Joel Corey, etc., etc. Because he's a sneaky tall. Is he, or is it just on the TV?
Nah, I think you've lost it. I think that's the TV, mate. He's pretty short.
You reckon he's short?
Oh, he's not tall. He's not
he's
Joel Corey.
180 something.
180 something.
Come on, we'll go.
You should have terrific character too, isn't he?
He's a ripping fella. I really enjoy Simo, and I think what gets lost in this and what we're talking about with the AFL and the, I guess with COVID and what's going to hit when it comes to clubland is the development coaches. I mean, the work that James Riley and Shane O'Brien have been able to put into him over the last 2 years is got him to a stage now that he can come into an AFL game and win the disposal count. So I think it speaks volumes. Okay, what's his height?
When I was standing next to him at Lily Mithen's 21st last year, he was taller than 180 centimetres.
Lily's 3'2".
Yeah,
I hope she won't mind me saying that. Sam Simpson's 180 centimetres.
He seemed to be capturing the dance floor.
Joel Corey's 190.
He's not even taller than me.
Oh, come on. Hang on.
Let's not exaggerate.
All right, on the TV, he has a presence that's taller than I thought.
Might be his fringe. He's got a bit of a fringe.
I liked it. I mean,
his hair's got a bit of height. Now, we're going to pump up Paddy Dangerfield shortly. He was superb on Thursday night. But I just want to give a little bit of extra love because the third quarter, and we're going to talk about the third quarter,
best of the
was
year
phenomenal.
anyway.
But the Brisbane Lions would have been in front by a lot more in the first half, if not for the performance of Mark Blitzarves. He saved us time and time again on smalls, talls, everything in between.
He bounced back after your scathing criticism the week before.
I said I hadn't seen him play.
You pretty much said he should be playing the VFL. You pretty much dropped our.
Now you know that I've said he is at fullback and he does not move from fullback.
Oh, he was moving all right this weekend. He was going into inside 50, kicking goals. Oh, he probably didn't kick a goal, but he was close to it. He should have.
Did I miss that one?
There was a lot of love. Sam Menengola again. They're now talking about the Kaji Greaves and where he'd be placed. That's what he's already in the reckoning.
We're 6 games in.
That's what happens out there in the world.
This is what you guys do in a minute. You get... Oh, God.
Are you bored? You're just trying to make up content.
I'm just reading what you're saying on radio and following it up.
I am not saying it on radio.
But if the Kaji Greaves was being counted now, we like saying this sort of stuff, he'd be in the top 6.
Well, it's not being counted now, mate. It's being counted after round 18 or when we finish in the finals. So pipe down.
the supporters and my fans out there like sort of thinking about these things.
So after round one, the player who
was best on ground is
best on ground, if the Cardew Greaves was counted, then they would have won a best and fairest.
You're onto something.
Actually, we should put them up on the honour board. They're a best and fairest
We're
winner.
a third of the way through the season, and it's interesting to see where
Even
players
Mitch Duncan only played 5 minutes. He's probably leading best and fairest if anyone's leading.
Well, not anymore. Sam Menengola.
Is Mitch going to play this week?
Oh, surely
I hope not.
Surely not. It's like a one-day turnaround, and he played 10 minutes.
It's a full 7-day turnaround, Thursday to Thursday.
They've travelled different states. But if his hamstring was that bad he couldn't play, I mean, I don't know. You men know more about hamstrings, but surely not.
But the effort of the boys to get back, we're down by 5 goals.
Yeah. Two down
in 10
early.
minutes.
Yeah.
To come back, it was really impressive. I mean, that's probably one of the most impressive wins we've had for a long time.
Does this say a bit for KB and his push about interchange? Geelong clearly didn't need as many interchanges. The players enjoyed being out on the ground for longer stints, Cameron.
They still had to rotate high numbers
I'm
through
sure
those
they
two
didn't
spots.
do as higher numbers.
Oh, I don't know what the numbers were.
Did you just reference KB in our podcast?
Well, he's the topic. He's a Richmond great. He's one of the Hall of Famer.
He's 90.
Quinton Narkle out for a couple of weeks. I do know that. The moment where I was worried on Thursday night was, and credit to them, it was superb football, was the boundary throw-in, I think, or maybe it was a ball up.
Was this Gazuki you're talking about?
What?
Lockie Neal's goal.
Yeah, Lockie Neal's goal.
Well, that was Gaz.
Whoa.
What?
Well, Gaz was watching him run. It was a perfectly
Hang
set
on a
play.
sec. Yeah, okay, it was a perfectly set play. And yes, Gaz's positioning, he got left behind. But do you honestly think when he's a half forward coming up to that, so the attacking side, the Cats' attacking side of the contest, you think that he's perfectly going to go tap down, handball to a bloke on the fly?
The obvious set play, if you've watched the videos of Brisbane.
Really? They run that one all the time.
So
do
you
they?
just saw that and thought, they're on. Is that what you're feeling? Or?
I just thought Brisbane are super sharp here. Yeah. We're 2 down at the bench. We're in a little bit of trouble.
We're in trouble. I definitely thought that. I mean, and those plays work 1 in 100 too, Scotty.
Yeah, I know that. Well, they work more in your era, though.
Especially when I was running forward.
I was a bit worried when, and I want a new rule. The Shark, who's our favourite. We know he's our favourite.
Mark O'Connor, for new listeners.
You know how we like to overpossess the ball sometimes in this keepings off in the back pocket? Shark can't be allowed to do that. There has to be a rule.
Oh, hang on. Well, because he's missed a couple of targets.
A couple.
You're going to write him off, are you?
I'm not writing off.
You want him to dwell on mistakes that have happened in the past?
To stay in his lane and do what he does best.
Hey, sharks don't stay in their lane, mate. They swim in the ocean. Right?
They're an apex predator.
Do you not agree that there's a time where a long kick, if you're not feeling the short 10-metre pass that...
Agreed. If it's not on.
It happened again. It happened last week. There's a trend.
Don't write his mind off and say, you know what, you've made a couple of blues. Whatever you do, keep dwelling on those. Keep dwelling on those, and if you ever make that mistake again, we're going to drop you.
Helping him.
You're out of time.
I'm helping him.
To kick the 10-metre pass in the back pocket. That's all I'm telling him.
And then when we do go down the line, you'll be one of those blokes going, we play boring football.
Just when the Shark has it.
You know what I'd be telling him?
Nah, take it. Every time, Shark.
You know what I'd be telling him?
Go again.
You think you can hit it? Hit it.
Well, it wasn't on.
And you live with the consequences, but you hit it.
I'm here for curbing errors.
I'm going back to the good old days here. I'm going to sound like one of those old players.
I like it.
Do you know the number of times that Bomber would walk out, quarter time, half time? To me, to a lot of us, it wouldn't be just to me, after a couple of mistakes.
Wasn't to me.
And he'd just say, can you do anything about those mistakes? And we'd be like, no, but I should have done. He goes, I don't care what you should or shouldn't have done. They are gone. Forget about them. If you think you can hit it every single time.
This wasn't a centering kick to set up play,
You'd feel good about yourself. You'd go, okay, coach has got my back. I can take that kick on. I can take that handball on.
Some people need rules in this world, in this structure.
How has Scott Gullan turned this into a negative and focusing on Mark O'Connor's?
I love the Shark and he's one of our best players, but I just say he shouldn't do that little chip kick.
Did you see the third quarter coming?
No, of course not.
No, that was superb football.
The only thing is I was a bit, not anti-Brisbane, I wasn't convinced. Everyone was in love with them. But SCG, I always thought, SCG.
Yeah, I remember you saying that last week, actually. I'll give you a bit of credit.
Everyone was running away with Brisbane. I'm not going to say they're not that good. They're a good team. But, given they were 5 goals down,
it should have been. The SCG is easier to defend, isn't it?
But they're away from their home environment. It's like St Kilda. Teams get in their little bubble. They played it in Queensland for a month. They're happy with life. different game.
Well, we're going back to Queensland, so so they might be unstoppable.
But, I mean, the bloke we're going to talk about, 35, had a little bit of a look out about him even when we were down. You know, when he just has that, I'm going to...
When he plays like that, he's in the
it's
top couple in the whole comp. He was fierce in the contest. What do you have, 14 contested possessions, I think? Clearances, 8.
7 inside 50s, 3 goal assists.
It was unbelievable performance.
He just had that look about him.
That's a perfect game.
But third quarter, does it put away any debate about the way that Geelong should play? They were brilliant around the contest, but they took the option to go forward when it presented. They gave the handball. There were run from behind. There were handball receives. There was switch kicks. There was the 45 kick into the middle. It was superb.
And 40.
And Tommy Peters here, our main man with Rowan, is just...
Oh, he's pumped him up.
He's given us the little, don't forget the big man in the middle.
He's become
Darcy
Chuka.
Ford.
He's in love with Fort as much as you're in love with Chuka.
Well, it's been ever since he's come on this podcast.
That's true. Career best figures.
Do you think it's a bit of a concern, though? Not trying to be negative at all, like Scotty, but, I mean, do you think that at the same time, apart from Simo, that the guys that stood up in the third quarter were the older guys? So Mark Bledsoe stood up all game. Tom Hawkins was sensational.
Oh, brilliant.
Selzy had that grit about him that he always does. Paddy Dangerfield.
Gazza came
And Gazza.
Yeah.
Is that the only concern? I think that we don't... The guys that... You know, Sam Menegola was pretty good, but Sammy isn't no young chicken. He's 30, isn't he?
Getting close.
Asava started to give us a little bit of excitement.
That's the only concern I'd be...
Yes, except...
Sometimes it's the old blokes too.
I've always subscribed to the philosophy that when you're all playing as a unit and really united in what you're doing and you're fierce in the contest, you're fierce with your pressure, you're taking the game on, you're doing it all on the same page, well, from that, your main men, your stars, whatever age they are, tend to shine even brighter, and it allows Dangerfield to go to work and Hawk and Blitz and these guys, the regular ones, Joel, to go to work. Yes, it didn't look as though Buse or Fort or people like that were the ones who took the game over, but I think they were all working in unison so well that it allowed the superstars to do what they do best.
I like that, Cameron. I'll give you that.
It's always what I feel good teams at Richmond do it. The best Richmond, not right now.
Oh, yeah.
The best
the
version
cream
is
always is in the best players, isn't it?
Lambert and Grimes and all these crucial players let Dusty shine, brightest of all. And
no, it was very, very impressive.
We're all agreeing here. I feel a little nervous.
What about our... we rested Jackie Boy, your man, Stokesy.
Straight back in, Stokesy?
Straight back in.
With Narkle out, Stephen in.
Yep.
Is one change.
What about Duncan if we presume he doesn't play?
No, we do not risk Mitch Duncan.
Correct.
So if Duncan goes out, who comes in?
Who's impressed in the scratchy?
Well, I was watching footage.
There was a Collingwood
and I don't want to say it.
Oh, I've heard. No. He was
on.
mentioned. He was... Yeah, go.
Who?
No, I know who you're going to say. Mention
My
his
favourite.
name.
Your favourite. I think it's time. I think it might be time.
Well, the coach even breathed his words. Apparently...
Am I allowed to say his name?
Yeah, say it.
Yeah,
say it loud. Say it.
Nakaya
Yes.
Cockatoo. Really?
The coach has talked... He'll play in Perth. Don't know. It won't be this week. I reckon it could be the one after. There you go. There's a prediction.
That gives me... That fills me with so much happiness and hope for the future that... Lock me down. You put me into stage 17 restrictions down here. I wouldn't care as long as I know that Nakai Cockatoo is going to be playing in the blue and white.
I just watched him, a little bit of footage of him from the VFL, and just seeing the smile on his face. I mean, all right, we're all about feeling good. We're all about winning games, but we've done it with Jackie Stevens. Now let's do it with Nakai. Let's put him in there. Let him have some fun. Get the supporters roused up.
Where's he going to play? What position?
Half forward.
Wherever he wants.
Because he could even take over, because he's got such a unique game. He could be the Dangerfield in the forward line with Danger still in the midfield. So I mean, it could work for us really well, especially with Optus Stadium. Or is it Optus Stadium? Yeah. Yes. It's a pretty open. It's not as big as Subiaco, but it's still an open size ground. It's the size of the MCG. Is that correct?
I think so. Yes.
I mean, it's a big ground, so if we can give him some space and let him go to work, and also the games are shorter, so the risk of the injuries, we'll be able to hopefully manage him through the game. He could be the X factor that the club needs.
He is genuinely big. I know you said Sam Simpson you thought was big, but Nakai Cockatoo is massive.
Built like a...
He would be high.
He'd be close to 190. Yeah, I would have thought. Yep.
And he's just throwing around serious kicks too. He would hurt you.
he
hurts
hurts
every time
everyone.
he hits people.
Yep.
So maybe not this week, maybe next week.
Yeah.
So
No, this week. Put him in, Scotty.
No, not going to happen.
If
Scotty,
Calm down.
Wait, what do you mean? Won't happen?
Just
I don't think it's this week. They've got to get him over there and cotton wool him for a week.
He is over there.
Just park him for 2 seconds. Let's leave it possibly going to happen. If it's not him, Duncan goes out. Is it Jordan Clark?
Oh, please.
I hope so. I do.
Similar type-ish player.
Well,
Out, like running ability, leg speed, carry the ball.
Surely he
user.
served his penance for being a naughty boy.
What are you
What did
saying?
he do?
Well,
naughty?
he went from most promising young kid played round one to went on holiday, enforced holiday, told us his skin folds were all good, came back, trained poorly for a couple of weeks, and he hasn't been seen
So hang
since.
on, what you're suggesting is if a player doesn't play straight away, they're no good or they're out for
Well, when you're in the team in round one, you think you're going to be in round two unless you've done something wrong.
Why don't you put this in whispers?
Or what about someone's jumped past him? What about if somebody's done something extra
during that
right?
3 week of training, they've come back and looked. I'm just trying to.
And he's got a new hairstyle too. He looks like Wild Thing off what's that? Major League.
Charlie Sheen's character.
It's unbelievable. I love it. I'm out of the team, but I'm going to do my hairstyle the way that I want to.
I want him in every week. You know.
So maybe Duncan for Clark.
Why not?
Narkle for Stephen is likely.
Well,
Probably the only changes.
You
I
haven't
would
mentioned
say.
your man. You've given up your campaign.
I haven't given up my campaign.
Played well in a scratch match too. My male has it.
So what I'm concerned
He's not
about,
biting.
what I'm concerned about is when his opportunity comes, I want him to be put into a position where he can succeed.
He play
Quality
half forward.
midfield minutes. Quality midfield minutes. And I want it to happen, but I don't know when it will or if it will.
On the rotation policy, I mean, Gaz is going to get rested either this week or next week. You know that. That's just...
Yep.
And Harry. So you got to factor that in too.
Didn't Harry break some record for the most
My
running at high
information-
speed?
The AFL's data released immediately after the game suggested... Explain this to me, Stokes. He's the fastest...
The most time spent at high speed.
Yeah. So it means,
Ever.
Yeah. Which
Ever.
I think that's wrong. I think that's... I think that...
I think that
It might have been a
app,
glitch.
that technology may have got COVID-19. I'm not sure that's correct.
I don't think that's correct. But Harry, I hope it was. You're a fast man. You work hard.
Now, we're going to talk the Collingwood game in just a second. Have you got any other news? They're going to Perth for a couple of weeks.
Perth.
Probably going to Queensland then. Everybody's going to Queensland?
Well, there's
because everyone's
issues-
running away from New South Wales?
Yeah, they've got to get out of New South Wales.
Geez, they're carrying on a bit. They've had 20 positive, and then all of a sudden they're shutting. We've had 290
A day.
a day.
Yeah, certain suburbs in Sydney. So, but the rugby league players are back in the you can't go out and have coffee. So they're back in that.
I think the AFL they had to almost pack the bags and run to the airport to get out of Victoria on time. I don't think they want that same scenario. I think they want to get out ahead of time just in case it
Oh, geez, how good would
Gets
it
out
be
of
to be in
control.
lockdown in Queensland?
just get.
Oh well, St Kilda and
This
Noosa.
weather, Geelong. Actually, today's not too bad, but
beautiful.
sounds very nice to me.
Beautiful. All right, we better take a break before we do. It's important to stay healthy while staying at home. That's why GMHBA have partnered with Keezer. I did Keezer today just before I came here. First session back. If you're a GMHBA member with extras cover,
do you
can
do, Cameron?
access. Oh, it's good for my back.
Can,
Oh,
tell,
just
can
stretch.
tell us your first session back too.
It's not a work. It's a strengthening session around the core. A couple of bulging discs carrying him for all those years.
Walked into that one, Stokes.
If you're a GMHBA member with extras cover, you can access telehealth or in-centre physio from the team at Keezer with no out-of-pocket expenses up to your annual limits until September 30. Waiting periods and sub-limits apply. Search GMHBA Keezer for details and stay healthier at home. We will be back next with some questions and a look ahead to the Collingwood game. Welcome back. It is great to have you with us on To the Final Bell, brought to you by Panther Tyres. We love the support of Panther Tyres. We also appreciate the support of Deakin Uni. Digital is in Deakin University's DNA. With 40 years of experience in distance and online learning, discover why they're the #1 Australian public university for overall educational experience. Premium, proven, loved. Study online at Deakin. Isn't it good when you're reading a live read off your phone and your phone rings? And the panic of, I don't know what the next word is.
Who was calling you?
That's exactly what I was doing. It's actually
Chris Scott.
Mark Blitzarv's father. Andres Blitzarves, a terrific man, works at WorkSafe in Geelong.
What do you got?
Is this
Another
one of
gig?
your
You got
cashies?
another gigs?
No, I do some events for them and WorkSafe Health and Safety Month each year.
Out of the goodness of your heart.
Spare me, Cameron.
Cash.
Didn't you make enough money off Geelong with Edge?
Rorting the public.
No, supporting their message, a very important message.
And what would you know about WorkSafe?
You've never worked a
Have you
day
got
in a
steel
proper
caps?
job in your life.
Steel caps, PPE, personal protective equipment.
I'll give you PPE. Oh God, I've heard it all. Scotty,
Now, hang on. I'm going to
bastard.
make you feel terrible, but you know that my father was involved in a very, very serious
can't go there.
workplace
Oh, come
accident.
on. You know the heartstrings on us.
We spread the message,
We've never seen you in a lycra vest ever.
and now you feel bad, don't you, Stokesy?
No, not really. Do we? No, we're okay.
Nah, I don't.
No, you don't.
You know where my heart lies.
Righto, let's get to your questions. I've got to find those in my phone now. Appreciate everybody sending in the questions.
Another cashy coming through. Won't be able to read.
Ben asked the questions. What would the three boys have taken into the hub as their must-have item? That was my father just ringing as I was trying to read those questions. Should put the do not disturb on my phone or whatever you do. 3 items that you would have taken in as their must-have items. Were you one of those blokes who travelled with your pillow?
Nah.
No, pillows are fine.
did.
No, I wasn't ever fussy when I.
Well, golf clubs, if we're allowed to play golf, obviously. I'd actually, I know this sounds silly, but I reckon you need a couple of good books if you're a reader. Because I don't mind books when I'm on holidays.
Even when I was just the simple interstate trips, I always took a book to read.
I
Flight
reckon.
there, bit in the hotel, flight back, try and finish a book in that time.
Oh, it definitely wasn't books. I'd get the gossip magazine.
What else to keep you amused?
Would you?
Well, I'm not an Xbox, so I don't need any of that.
No. Would you have taken your golf sticks?
Yeah, absolutely. You'd take your surfboard.
Oh,
lot
yeah,
of
but there's
them
no
did.
surf in Perth. There
Well,
is a
haven't you heard
little
of-
bit at Trig Point, but you got to go travel a couple of hours.
When you're out of, what is it? Quarantine. It's game on, isn't it?
Do you know what book I'm reading at the moment? You'd like this one? The Best and the Brightest.
One of mine, many. Mathew
yeah.
Scarlett, My Life, or whatever it was.
David Halberstam. Do you know that one? The Best and the Brightest?
Don't
About
know
the
Dave.
Vietnam War and the Kennedy years and all
No,
that?
I like crime, make-believe stuff.
Make believe. Underbellies? Did you like those
Yeah, I
books?
like them. Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, very good, very good. All right, Ben, we
Stokesy?
really
No.
haven't got much there. Stacey, you've given nothing.
What would you
Nah,
take?
I wouldn't take anything.
Clothes, that's it.
I've got the boys banter. That's all I need. That's it.
Perfect. Costa asked this one. How far into the list will the Cats go during the rapid block of games? Will every player get a turn? I'm going to fire a couple at you. When's Chuka playing, Scotty?
This week, potentially. Yes.
Don't tease me.
No, he played very well in the scratch
Matt,
match.
what happens if Chuka and Cocky play this week? Dodgy, look out.
Will you be...
Dodgy.
Will you have clothes on when you watch it, Cameron? That would be the question. we want to know.
Stop it, you two. It's getting a bit hot in here, isn't it?
I think the 11-day break...
He won't really play this week, will he?
Chuka.
He's a chance.
Chuka's a chance.
Oh, wow.
Wet weather over in Perth this week.
Perfect.
Supposed to be very wet, isn't it?
In and under. Good matchup with Tom Willis. What's his name?
Rupert
That's
Wills. Tom Wills. He didn't invent the game of AFL.
He would be made for the in and under Collingwood
Okay,
midfield.
good. I like that. Tommy Atkins, the ribs, he won't play this week, will
No.
he?
Turn the corner, our mail is.
Really? Couple of weeks away?
He turned right to Perth, did he?
No, they're improving.
Okay, good. What Tommy Stewart? We didn't mention him before. Injury update. You've usually got all the.
Well, he's
info,
apparently doing the old walking past the coach, knocking on his door situation, saying, I'm ready. But
Really?
I don't know whether Thursday night might be a bit quick, but
So Thursday night and then an 11-day break before
he
they play
definitely played that
Fremantle.
one. But he's keen.
Okay,
He's very
good.
keen to get up and about.
Good. Lockie Fogarty, the other one?
Well, I
Fogarty.
think
No, he's Fogarty, but his nickname's Fogs.
Yeah,
That's all right.
Fogs, but he's Fogs.
He's got to be close, doesn't he? Now.
He has to be close. But then, man, who do we take out?
Yeah. So Costa, I think the answer will be so tomorrow night we're recording this on a Wednesday, then an 11-day break.
Yeah, so
I
they
think
won't-
beyond
after that,
that will
yeah.
be the patch where there could be games every day for 3 or 4 weeks.
So I think get them ready for that time.
Yeah, start tuning them. I would say they won't use every player on the list. There will be a couple who will just be a bit too far off with their development.
Yeah, I
but
think so. Yeah, I think that'd be unwise.
Yeah.
and
Cooper
unhealthy.
Stevens would probably get a run
Cooper
during
Stevens
that
a
time.
chance.
Nathan Kruger should be one of the next tools to come in.
You really want to look at him.
I love
don't you?
Krugs. I think he's got everything to be a good AFL player.
So if like Sav needed to work out, he's a tall forward with a bit of excitement.
Could go back.
Oh, wow. Freddie Kruger.
Sonia Kruger.
Carly asked this one. I think we touched on it a little earlier. Lingy, can you talk to Bruce about not writing Gary off? I don't know, Carly. I think writing him off's a good thing because
Say all you want about
he
Gaz.
loves the challenge. I know he wouldn't have heard Bruce, of course, on the weekend, but it was quite funny.
I mean, in all honesty, though, he wasn't having a great game. So for the first quarter and a half, that was the first time that did not look like Gary Ablett. And then he just went whooska. And he was probably one of the main reasons with Paddy and Blitz of how we turned that game around. I mean, he was involved in everything moving forward. And it shows you how important he is if he can get that touch inside 50 because he's got the beautiful skills to hit Hawkeye right on the titty.
For about 20 minutes, he just said to everybody, righto, let's stop this game.
Yeah.
That's my footy. You boys can all keep running around on this field. I don't mind. Get a little bit of exercise. But for the next 20 minutes, I own this game.
It was bloody impressive. I was watching at home and I was just in awe. I was like, holy moly, he's 38, close to 40.
I had both my kids with me, and Max 7, and starting to really love footy. And I just, for 20 minutes, just watch Gaz. Look at what he does. Watch Gaz. It was a show. It was a masterclass.
And he is a superstar, Scotty.
Correct.
Yeah. You can call him a champion, Scotty. It's
I
all right.
do.
I like Mick Malthouse's article on the weekend.
That was good, wasn't it?
Tone it back. There's probably only half a dozen champions playing the game.
Didn't he? Who didn't he?
No, I think there's a difference between a superstar and a champion.
Yeah, champion, you've got to have done, you've got to be 3/4 of the way through your career. Like
plus.
Matt Rowell after 3 weeks,
Yeah.
please.
Dusty's probably the youngest of the
He's
champions.
the champion.
Because he's two Norm Smiths delivered huge
Brownlows,
games.
etc., etc.
Yep.
But Nat Fyfe, I think, is a superstar. Nat
See, this
Fyfe
is
can
interesting.
become a champion.
He's got him to a grand final. Yeah, okay.
But so I'm still saying he's the superstar. Anyone who says he's not is kidding
Of course
themselves.
he's a superstar.
But I think then there's another bracket to be able to jump to Buddy, Gaz, Pendlebury, Martin,
He had danger in there, I think.
Danger, and Joel.
Yeah.
I'd put Sean Burgoyne in as a champion as well.
Yes.
Yes.
So
He's
to me-
no longer a superstar. But he's a champion.
Yeah,
champion.
that's a good call.
So 7, say 6 or 7, you can argue, debate it all you like, 6 or 7
But then
champions playing.
You got Pendlebury.
Yeah.
Oh, he was
I
in
had
that
Pendlebury,
list.
Yep.
And he said Cripps and Bonampelli are sort of on the cusp.
Cripps, Bontempelli, Fyfe are superstars for me.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a good
Agreed.
one.
Oh, wow, we keep agreeing. It's uncomfortable. Blocker asks. Blocker. At what point do you think we'll know if teams are going to be a premiership chance, or will it change as the year goes on? I think the next
No, it's
Month.
Yeah, I was going to say 3 to 4 weeks.
I think once we get to Queensland, when we get shipped out there, I reckon it's going to show because I reckon the clubs who have good depth
Yep.
and suit that type of game where the game's shorter, they get the turnovers every week, the guys who can stay connected to as a group,
The way they're playing.
it's going to make a big difference once you get to Queensland. And you know, from what we've been told, they're going to Queensland for the remainder of the year. That's huge.
wow.
That's very big.
So, Blocker, I agree with what Stokesy just said. I also think that we will see very, very clearly those who can't win it. Now, there's a couple down the bottom of the ladder who already can't win
I
it.
can rattle off a few if you want.
Rattle them off then.
No,
Go on.
Well, Sydney can't. Adelaide can't.
Sydney, yeah, Fremantle.
North won't. I'll tell you teams who won't win it who are still might make the 8. Do you want them as well?
Yeah, but I think that the next month tells us the teams that are currently 6 to 14, or maybe even 5 to 12, who can't win the premiership.
Fremantle can't.
No, I know that, but Richmond could still.
Yeah, Richmond could. Of course they could.
But in the next month,
But
if
the
things didn't go
problem-
well, you can.
What? Yeah, you can.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
problem
put
with
line
the
through
start
them.
of the year has been, you think about GWS were favourites, then they can't get out of their own way. They'll come good. Port Adelaide were the one, then they lost one game, everyone jumped off, and Brisbane were going to be the team. Then
Go back to Port for a second. How good was our friend, good old Kenny Hinkley in the circle?
Oh, yes.
I mean, there is no better person in football than Kenny
Yes,
Hinkley and his
correct.
Diet Cokes. I mean, but to see him and the
out of
motion-
his comfort zone doing that.
like That's why I love Kenny. I mean, Kenny was, and you ask any of our players from our year, and Kenny was the favourite. I mean, he just hit you straight between the eyes, but then give you a big cuddle.
Yeah.
And to see that was heartwarming, because that's what footy to me is about. That raw emotion,
camaraderie. Yeah,
we're in it together. Let's do it together.
And congratulations to him, life member. 300 games total for playing and coaching. And I agree with you, Stokesy. And
still claims to be Aboriginal too, but Kenny, you ain't Aboriginal. All right. I always
He claims it.
He claims it. He
From Camperdown.
Camperdown, he reckons he's, he said there's a few Aboriginal boys that's down there and it's in his blood somewhere, but that's why he never manned up and he's got the good skills. But Kenny, you ain't.
William asks, if this is going to be one of the hardest premierships to win, could the same be said about Brownlow and All-Australian spots this year? Actually, speaking of All-Australian spots, I find that intriguing. Every week a new person goes, he's a lock for All-Australian already. 6 games
you know
into the
what
year.
I heard? Yeah. Your mate Jared Healy's the worst. I think he had Levi Casbolt in the All-Australian team. I mean, Levi's a nice player.
Who do you watch Fox Footy?
Yeah. Well, when I watched, I have to watch the games. I hear the commentary.
I loved something Jared Healy said about the holding the ball rule on the weekend. It was outstanding. He was just dripping with sarcasm. It was beautifully delivered. He's like, okay, so whatever you do, just don't go for the football.
Yeah.
Make sure you wait for someone else to pick it up, lay the tackle. Do not go for the footy. I love it.
Problem is it's in the player's psyche, isn't it? They're thinking about it. You should never think on the footy field. You didn't for so long and you got through.
He didn't have to think. He just put his
He just grabbed the bloke.
grabbed on the backside and that's it, and held on for the rest of the game. 2 hours of running around.
But if you're thinking about whether I go for that ball or not, that's just wrong. And that's what's happened because of this rule.
The Brownlow medal. Is it
Matt Rao.
the hardest to win this year because of the strange
Well, I
year?
think all of it, there's elements of harder because
Why
of
do we
everything.
care so much about the Brownlow medal? Were we ever going to have that conversation?
I don't care about
It's
it.
just the history.
If I won it, I would have.
You don't care, Gary and Patrick and
Oh, no.
others. You shun the award.
I'm torn between...
Just because taggers don't get votes.
I'm torn
Well, they should. They should. They're most important. They're nearly the most important people on the footy ground.
What's wrong with the
Mathew.
umpires awarding votes?
I'm torn between those players who you've mentioned deserve to be acknowledged as the best player in the competition that year.
We now know that only midfielders win it. We just accept that. Don't even cry about a forward trying to win it. Or a ruckman.
Umpires, it's a hard enough game to umpire and make right decisions. We're seeing that so often because they get a lot wrong and they're during the week, they're getting different interpretations thrown at them, and we want you to crack down on this
headline coming
lesson
here.
up on this.
Geelong great says Brownlow.
At the same time, we're saying your votes are going to decide the most important and most prestigious award in the competition.
Do you want my votes? The media's votes?
Not the
Your
way you
votes.
give out your best players.
Well, what about you? You want to be...
Hey, Scotty, you can only give out one Brownlow for the year. Do you know that?
Oh, that's it. No, they got two. They can equal. So who does it then? What, scrap the whole award?
I'm
You're saying the umpires are incapable of knowing who really played well.
So why not have? And I'm only thinking on the run here. A combination
Well,
of
in the NRL,
Coaches Association votes have a certain amount of weighting, like you do for your end of
They
year.
get a few wrong.
End of year mark. Your exams have a certain amount of weighting.
Yes, I
your
get that.
Assignments. Coaches Association votes have a certain amount of weighting.
Herald Sun Football of the Year has some weighting.
The players actually caring and
They
putting
just
in proper
vote for their
votes.
mates who are superstars.
No, that's not true. Plus a panel, and make it a large
panel.
a cross section.
Because he's on panels. He loves being on a panel.
No.
He does love panels.
Do you like the NBA system, the NFL MVP system? It's about 50 journalists.
Yeah, there's a
big,
lot
and
of
media
people
and
involved,
football people and basketball people.
Well, the NRL have a bit of that too.
And they figure, one or two are going to be
the
biased or
outriders,
be outright. But across the board, you're going to get a general consensus. You throw in the weight of the coaches' votes and the players' votes, and you throw it into a mix that has certain percentages for certain votes, and you end up with a product that should have the best player in the competition acknowledged.
Look, I do agree the slant to the obvious bloke who gets a lot of possessions is wrong. I've got no problem with that. I don't know how you're going to change history with your theory.
No, I know.
It's a good headline for tomorrow's Herald Sun.
There's a lot of other headlines. I don't need to worry about capturing one. We better finish up in just a second. Tomorrow night's game, we're recording this on a Wednesday. Thursday night footy, Cats and Pies, 2nd versus 5th from memory. Going to be wet, we believe. What are you expecting?
I expect number 5 to be running out with the team tomorrow. Scotty, put him in.
Nikai Cockatoo.
Nikai Cockatoo in there. Perfect conditions for him. He'll bash some people. He'll hit some bodies hard. He'll create a couple of scoring opportunities. Put him in.
I think Collingwood discovered when they move the ball quick, they are a better team. Hawthorn probably let them move it a bit quick last week, but they, similar to Geelong, maybe feeling out their game style and realising, okay, we can shift into a slow mode when we need to, but our number one intent should be quicker ball movement because we've got a forward line capable of kicking some goals. So
Essendon pressured the life out of them 2 weeks ago and they folded. So I think
but
Geelong
they were
have to
going
bring that heat
backwards
to whatever
and
it is.
slow.
Yeah, they were terrible.
What about the
because-
crowd too? We get a crowd tomorrow
Yeah, we
night.
get 30.
30,000?
So Cats
We
fans
got
will be
good
loud.
supporters over there too. We've
Yeah.
got some great support over WA.
Oh, it's a toss of the coin because they're a good team and so's Geelong.
No,
Who's
that's not-
better in the wet?
We are.
Because of?
Joel.
Chuka.
In Joel, I trust.
Tomahawk
and we
plays
got
all right.
danger. We got danger. And we got Sam Simpson after having best ball on the ground.
I'm worried about the outs, that's all. Duncan, if he doesn't play.
It's a fair mantra in Joel we trust.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Should be hashtag. I think it is a hashtag. Actually.
No, they're a good team. It'll be close.
Okay. And then an 11-day break to Fremantle.
And do they get out of isolation during that 11 days?
No.
So
How
they
many
haven't
days are
they
they
haven't
over there?
served their isolation yet until they get to Perth. So the Sydney isolation
Doesn't count.
doesn't count.
Okay. Well, they'll be
Because they were having
climbing-
coffees. They were going to. See, this is why we have outbreaks. People like you don't read what you have to do.
I live in Barwon Heads where I can do whatever
You
I
don't.
want.
You like Adam Hills. You live in Points London. You're Melbourne based.
Is this beautiful Bowen Heads all good now?
Oh, there was a few
was a
too
couple
many
little-
people there. To be
couple of
honest.
little outbreaks.
We've closed the borders again.
across the bridge.
Preston,
Cross that
Matt
bridge.
Preston down there is in.
No,
Adam Hills
he's-
and those.
He's Point Lonsdale. We don't allow those types in Barwon
Ooh.
Heads.
Are you too good for Point Lonsdale?
Absolutely. Me and Sal. Me and Sal.
Showdown between.
Me and the skipper.
Has the
lived there.
skipper moved there?
The house is complete, but he's been in isolation in town.
The 7-year build.
It's very large, he tells me.
And also too, Joel, he doesn't get. He forced the first year players to go do concreting there a couple of years ago, wasn't it?
Did he really?
Did you really?
So you've passed the mantle of slave labour, and like it doesn't. Hey, don't. We paid for your kids to go through school with the amount of drinks that we
Now.
paid at the edge.
Now, so Joel makes them go concreting at his house. I let you in and you drank me dry night after night.
Hey, only on Saturday nights. Don't go night after night.
true,
Calm
true.
down.
Come on, there was Sunday sessions.
You did very kindly put a lot over the bar, Mathew, over the
Exactly
years.
right.
Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
James Kelly, Shannon Burns.
Actually,
Come
Cal,
Bernie.
I don't know how much Cal put over the bar. I think he tended to just walk off on the staff and take his drinks and leave.
I remember we did put a lot over Neil Barham's credit card too. Barmy, if you ever listen to this, thanks very much for the great times.
Appreciate that, Barmy. Put my kids through school. We better finish up. Righto, our tip, of course, is Geelong, but it will be a
It'll
cracking
be
game of footy.
very good.
I reckon we wipe them.
With Nikai Cockatoo playing. Do you realise how many texts you blokes are going to get if Cocky and Chuka are playing and they're playing well against the Pies?
Well, I'll give Doddsy a warning. Get out of the house, Dodds. Let him be.
Stop it. We will be back next week. Rain, hail or shine, we are going to be here. Even with the 11-day break, we'll have plenty of footy to talk about. Big thanks to Panther Tyres. Big thanks to Scotty Gullan and Mathew Stokes. Hopefully the Cats can have a win against the Pies tomorrow night over there in Perth. We'll be back next week.